In this video, we're going to explore why a default value may not be populating on some of your issues within Jira. So here you can see Elena posted this question asking why custom fields with the default value remain empty. It says, I've created a custom field for a link and I've defined a default value, which is a link, but when I add the custom field to one of my tickets, the custom field is still empty and I don't see the default value. So let's go ahead and explore the intricacies of default values and why they may remain empty even after adding a field to a specific screen or issue type. So first let's head over to Jira, and here you can see I've gone to settings, I've gone to issues. Once you scroll down, you can go to fields and select custom fields. Once on this page, we're going to look at an acceptance criteria field that I have. We're going to hit that ellipsis icon in the right-hand corner, and it says context and default value. That's what we're going to select. Here you can see that for acceptance criteria, I already have a default value entered here. My default value is given, when, and then, and an example. So given I'm a visitor to a website, when I click blank and blank, then blank and blank happens. So this is currently what my default is set to. So let's go ahead and go to the project that uses this custom field, and let's create a card. So I'm going to create a story. We're going to call it default value test. Great, and once we're here, you can see we have intake questions. Oh, and here we have the acceptance criteria, and you can see that the default value of given, when, then, and my example is populating. So let's go ahead and hit create. And this card is dev2-16. So let me go ahead and open this card, and we're going to open it in its own window so that we can come and reference it later. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our configuration of this custom field of acceptance criteria, and I'm going to edit that default value. Let me go ahead and update that. So given, when, then, we have an example, and I'm going to just type or definition of done. So anyone can enter a given, when, then example, or they can clearly outline their definition of done. So let's go ahead and set the default to include these changes right here. Great. Now let's go ahead and let's come back to our dev2-16 card that we had just created. Let's go ahead and hit refresh. And let's see if those updates are included on the dev2-16 card for acceptance criteria and the default value within that field. So let's scroll down and let's see. Yep, so just as I suspected, acceptance criteria, given, when, then, and the example, it does not include the updates that we had just made. And that's because Jira issues that were created before you go and update the default value for a custom field will not include that default value because they were already created. You may need to go through and enter that information manually, and you can use bulk changes in order to make those changes on a long list of issues that you have in your backlog that you want to include that link. However, if we go and we hit create, we create a new issue. And let's name this test new default value in acceptance criteria. And let's scroll down. And let's see. Acceptance criteria, given, when, then, example, and here are the changes that we included. So any card or issue that's created after you've updated the default value for our custom field will include that new default value they've gotten updated. But any cards that were made prior to those changes will not include any of the default values that you wanted to specify. Again, you can use the bulk changes to go through once you've identified the cards that do not have the default value that you want them to have. You can create a filter for those cards, then make bulk changes, and then update the field and custom field that you want to have those default values to include that information that you're looking for. So Elena, I hope this video helps you narrow down why your custom field may not include the default value that you've gone through and you've entered. For more on Atlassian Q&A, feel free to subscribe to my channel. So this is why default values may not pop up on some of your issues or your tickets once you've gone through and entered that default value for a field. For more Atlassian Q&A, subscribe to my YouTube channel.